So Mike Tomlin had an interesting press conference talking about George Pickens. Now, we do play them on Saturday, and he did say that George Pickens would be playing. But it's just the way how everything went down, which really interests me a lot. Now, listen, right? The whole point of this press conference, outside of him saying he's playing against us on Saturday, is the fact that they're asking him about how George Pickens acts to the media and how he acts on the field. And to be honest, I'm going to say I don't really care if a player is not the most highly respectful / crazy amazing to the media every single time they talk to the media. Because sometimes the media can be absolutely annoying. They can try to fabricate things, twist things to get you to say something you're not actually saying, just so they can write a story about you. So I understand in the perspective of the media why some players are going to be like, I don't know if I really like the media. Now, George Pickens is younger, right? And he's a hothead, man. He's a hothead. When he doesn't get the ball, he even said himself he likes to push players or hit players because that's how he gets over the fact that he's not getting the football. He wants to get the football. And now, Steelers fans, based on what I've seen from these comic sections and different posts, they're not happy with Tomlin's response to the whole situation. Let's go ahead and listen up to this.
How he deals with us and how he deals with you guys might be two different things. And to be quite honest with you, it's a reflection of maturity or needed growth in that area, to be quite honest with you. Dealing with the media and dealing with you guys in an honest and upright fashion is a component of our jobs, and it's something that he and we are working on. But he is a competitor. That component of him is mature, and the competitor in him at times works against him when facing challenges such as dealing with you guys. And I just want to be clear there.
Michael, George play this weekend?
Yes.
And again, I understand he's a competitor. And if anyone can deal with crazy personalities like George Pickens, it's Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll. Those are the two guys that can deal with them. And I think Mike Tomlin does a great job of dealing with crazy personalities. Dealt with Antonio Brown. My problem is, and I think a lot of Steelers fans I saw kind of agree with this opinion here, is what I think Mike Tomlin's doing is called enabling the behavior. Instead of putting your foot down and saying, okay, you acting like a fool, needs to stop, right? Now, obviously, I saw a lot of Steelers fans complain about last week with the Colts game, how he didn't block someone correctly on the goal line and Jaylen Warren with his touchdown. And there was a whole entire mess and issues there. And throughout the season, it seems like this has just kind of been a recurring theme for Mike Tomlin of not putting his foot down and, trying to fix things or trying to make sure that he keeps his players in check. And as a coach, your job is to make sure you keep things in check, right? You don't want your players going crazy and doing stuff because that comes back as a bad reflection on you. You're the coach. It's your job. You're being hired to make sure the team operates on a certain level. And I will say, to the perspective of, I do believe the coach does bear a lot of responsibility, but at the end of the day, you do have to let the players play and let them be themselves. Wide receiver divas are not a uncommon thing in the NFL. Happens all the time in the NFL. Not saying that George Pickens is a diva in any way, but I do agree that he's a competitor. I do agree that he plays at a high level, even for being a young guy, but he definitely does need to kind of get in check a little bit more. And that's what you look for toward your head coach, to kind of get that in check. I still don't care about his antics with the media. I really don't. I know that he should treat the media with respect and he should treat stuff. My problem would be, and last time we played you guys, the biggest problem was that Deontay Johnson doesn't dive on a fumble, or doesn't care about a fumble. And we recovered it, and we got a fumble back, and Deontay Johnson did not care. Now, that wasn't George Pickens. So as long as George Pickens isn't doing that kind of crap for you guys, I don't really see there being that much of a problem. If you want to break it down to that, Tomlin needs to be more strict and more controlled with the environment, then Yeah, he does. But at the end of the day, this is not how he is. He's a player's coach. He's gonna, kind of take all these crazy personalities and make a loony bin and then try to play in that loony bin. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing from our side is that this weekend, we need to get in Pickens' head. We need to get in his head throughout this game. Cause him to cause some, maybe some unnecessary roughness penalties, A little bit of shadow after the whistle. Not like anything dirty. I'm not saying dirty stuff, guys. I'm saying like, get in his head throughout the game. Cause him to, be off in this game. Maybe run his routing correctly. Because clearly it looks like you can get in Pickens' head. And it's always been like that. I mean, I think it's always been like that throughout his whole entire short career so far. But you got to get in his head even more. And that's where you're going to be able to really start cooking. Is once you get into Pickens' head and you get him kind of going crazy, this game could go your way in that aspect. Because listen, at the end of the day, you got Mason Rudolph starting, right? I'm not scared of Mason Rudolph. The guys I'm scared about on offense is Pat Freiermuth, who's a great tight end. Deontay Johnson, I'm actually not even scared about. I'm scared about George Pickens. I am. That's why, again, you get him rattled, you get him off his tempo, you get him, going crazy out there. You need that. Halfback-wise, I'm scared of Jalen Warren. I'm not scared of Najee Harris. I'm scared of Jalen Warren, though. I think he's a really good player. And all that, you take out George Pickens, everything else starts to fall into place. Now, based on what I understand, also, just a little context here, not only was it that he didn't block a guy on the goal line, apparently that would have gotten him hurt or something. Again, like I said, I've seen so many different, reasonings why George Pickens is right now being talked about, and a lot of fans are upset with him, and I get it. Listen, I understand at the end of the day, you guys are a team that was like going straight up, and now you're going straight down the cliff. And listen, we've been there. We were going straight down the cliff, and then now we're going straight up. We're going the opposite of you guys. But a lot of the reason why is because we were able to stay together and keep together and keep fighting for the same one cause. Well, it seems like with you guys, it's like, foul Matt Canada. Well, now Matt Canada wasn't the problem. Well, what's next? Well, Kenny Pickett goes down with injury. Okay. Well, what's the next problem? Well, according to a lot of Steelers fans, it's Mike Tomlin. But then the thing is, you fire Mike Tomlin, and then where you going? If it's not Mike Tomlin, then who's next? Is it Kenny Pickett? You get rid of him? Well, who's after Kenny Pickett then? Is it George Pickens? I mean, this is why I will say, and this is how a lot of great teams self-destruct. And the thing about the Steelers, right? I hate them. But they are a great franchise with how they're run, with how they operate, and how they're structured. And because of that, they usually don't do things like this. I think what was a crazy stat? When they fired Matt Canada, that was the first time they fired an offense coordinator or coaching anyway, mid-season, since like a way, way, way long time ago. Because they're usually not very quick and, I don't say brainless, but they're not very quick and, immediate to reach to that goal with somebody, throughout the season. They like to kind of wait and decide what they want to do. So, I'm going to be honest with you, Steelers. We love it. Because right now, you're self-destructing, okay? What it is, George Pickens, Mike Tomlin, whatever. We're going to take it to our advantage this weekend. We're going to play a hard-fought game, and we're going to try to get into George Pickens' head. And we're going to, hopefully, walk out of this game with a win. And that's just going to continue our reign to the playoffs and continue your guys' reigns down that cliff. And I'll say it like this, and I'll say it one more time. If you fire Mike Tomlin, I don't know if that's going to be your answer to your problems. I'm not saying it's not going to be, but I don't know if it's 1,000% going to be. And every time I go on any social media website, all I see is Steelers fans saying, fire this guy. Fire this guy, fire this guy, fire this guy. And I agree. He should put his foot down and stop saying this is a competitive mentality on the field problems, and instead say we need to kind of teach this guy what he needs to do and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I still don't really get too much into the media perspective. Again, like I said, just my cup of tea. At the end of the day, you could say, well, he should be nice to the media. I really could care less. It depends on what the media is saying. The media is doing nothing wrong to him and he's just being an a-hole, then yeah, I agree. But if the media is trying to ask him questions that kind of tries to force him into an answer that makes him look bad, then I'm not going to sit there and agree that, the media isn't the problem then. But again, like I said, overall wise, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.